Arrow, 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 multiple arrows, more arrows, then a circle and a surprise face, and there goes the stereotypical YouTube thumbnail. Arrows are a staple with YouTube. Everyone uses them, from Mr.Beast to Mark Robert. Content creators from all aspects of YouTube use arrows. Why? In this video, we will take a look into why so many content creators use arrows. So, YouTube. YouTube is a different kind of entertainment compared to most platforms. You can't really compare YouTube to anything besides bootleg versions of YouTube. With such a unique platform, there are bound to be very significant differences to mainstream forms of entertainment. So one major difference with YouTube from other platforms is thumbnails. Thumbnails are reduced versions of videos used to give the viewer a sense of what the video will be like. Whether it's a clickbait thumbnail or just a photo, YouTube is home to many types of thumbnails, but some things are just very common when it comes to thumbnails on YouTube. Arrows, circles, and a weird combination between a shocked and surprised face. In an older video, I made fun of the whole YouTube thumbnail concept, but never really looked into it. But in this video, we will look as to why arrows are so prominent, and I mean prominent. It seems like you can't find a YouTuber who doesn't use them. But what do arrows on thumbnails do? They draw attention. If you see an arrow pointing to a store with a discount on it, you are more likely to walk in that direction. Same with thumbnails. Arrows draw the viewer's attention, and with the millions and millions of videos on YouTube, you have to be different in some way or fashion. Introducing arrows. Arrows are usually accompanied by something else that grabs attention, whether it's bright colors or attention-grabbing items. Usually, arrows are pointing to something interesting on a thumbnail to draw the viewer's attention to that portion of the thumbnail. But arrows can also draw attention to nothing, or something even worse, clickbait. The use of arrows in thumbnails has a bad reputation on YouTube and is usually associated with trash content. But still, big YouTubers who make really good content continue to use them. Why? I want to dive deeper. So what is an arrow? Okay, maybe not that deep, but what are sensory cues? More specifically, visual cues. Well, sensory cues are signals that can be extracted from sensory inputs by a receiver. So what does this mean? Let's say you are driving and hear a loud siren. That's a sensory cue. It's a signal that humans are able to depict quickly. Same with visual. Visual cues are cues that humans are able to perceive quickly, or cues that draw the eye to a particular point. A lot of research has gone into visual cues, and I'm going to try to give a brief summary of it all. So sit back and enjoy. Visual cues are all around us, from the television ad that says a product is $19.99 to white glowing lines on the road. Visual cues are used to direct humans a certain way, or at least draw the attention of people. Drawing people's attention is so important nowadays. In a world where everyone is trying to grasp one thing, time. Time is scarce, and people want to try to take up as much of your time as possible. That's why visual cues are so important. Being able to get viewers to register something quickly and being able to act on it even faster. From simplification of logos to the use of mixed relationships in commercials, all of these are visual cues. It's something you notice. Why do you think stop signs are red? Because red is a nice color? No, visual cue. Your eyes are more attracted to the color red than any other color. That's why they say wear a red or black dress on the first date. It's attractive. And on YouTube, you have to be attractive. 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's 720,000 hours a day. In the pool of all the content creators on YouTube, all of them are looking for one thing: your time. And in order to get that time, you have to click on the video. This explains why thumbnails are so important on YouTube. If they don't click, they don't give you their time. So what if there was a way to increase the chance of someone clicking on a video? Visual cues. Visual cues attract the eye and will probably make the viewer more engaged. But which visual cue? Clearly, one took over the YouTube space. But does it work? Can arrows practice what they preach? So here's my plan. First, I will take a pool of YouTubers who have used arrows here and there on thumbnails and see how effective they are based on the views. As a video with a higher click-through rate will have more views and probably get pushed more by YouTube. Then I will take channels that use arrows excessively and see the impact of using those arrows. Lastly, I will take channels that rarely use arrows and see if the small percentage of videos with arrows have done any better or made any significant difference. Now, for all three sets, I will look at their most popular 30 videos and their most recent 30 videos as a control. So first, the three YouTubers I am using for this study are Mr.Beast, David Dobrik, and Marshmellow. Mr.Beast will only use arrows in only 4 out of 30 of his most popular videos, and only once in 30 of his most recent videos. David Dobrik would not use a single arrow in any of his 30 most popular videos, but he does use a lot of circles, which we may look into in another video. But David would use an arrow 6 times in his most recent 30 videos. Marshmellow would use an arrow 9 times out of his 30 most popular videos, and 10 times in his 30 most recent videos. So, what does this mean? Well, in the case of Mr.Beast and David Dobrik, arrows have no major factor in terms of views, as none of David Dobrik's top videos have arrows, and only 4 of Mr.Beast's videos have arrows. And clearly, Mr.Beast noticed that only 1 out of his last 30 videos have arrows. But Marshmellow's case is different, as in both his most popular and recent videos, about 33% of them have arrows in them, which also means arrows play no factor in terms of views. Now, I'll be using Skip the Tutorial, Screen Crush, and New Rockstars. Skip the Tutorial would have So I guess it's time to answer the question, do arrows on YouTube videos help you? Yes and no. Based on my analysis and the reading of different scholarly sources, arrows draw attention. They help with drawing attention to the video, but not necessarily someone clicking on the video, unless these two situations emerge. They have never seen your channel before, or they are younger. Younger viewers are more impressionable and will be drawn to the arrows, especially if it's a bold and intriguing color, such as red. The other scenario is if someone has not come across your channel. Someone who watches your videos consistently won't care if there's an arrow or not, but someone who has never seen a video of yours might be drawn in more because of the arrow. But an arrow in the thumbnail would never be enough for someone to click on a video by itself. If your video doesn't seem interesting, an arrow pointing to something random won't save it. But again, it will draw the viewer's attention, and arrows are good at taking up space too. So I would say use them, but use them subliminally and make sure the arrow doesn't take away from the thumbnail, because remember, your audience is a lot smarter than you may think.